speed.
Sound production.
Roll sound.
Rolling.
Sound production. Take 2.
Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. Remember those childhood movies you loved? Now, we're going to watch them again and find out if they're still as amazing as you remember. Or, your father was right. You were an idiot, and everything you watched was stupid. So buckle up, movie aficionados. Over-the-top gore? Check. Over-embellished action? Check. Gratuitous nudity? Double check. Storylines so absurd you could drive a semi-truck through those plot holes. Oh yeah, some of those movies didn't even know what a movie plot was. And that's the way we liked it. Now, here's your hosts, Anna Santos and Jimmy Coates.
How's it going?
It's going okay. I completely lost track of time and almost was late.
So did I actually.
I was like, what time? 8:57. Oh, jeez. But I showed up. I'm very proud of me.
Yay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast live every Wednesday at 9 p.m. We come on here and record our podcast live. So how this works, we start the show by reviewing our movie that we previewed last week. And last week we previewed 1997's Anaconda. And by preview, we checked out the synopsis, the movie poster, taglines. We go over reviews, good and bad, critics and audience members. And then we go over what we actually remember about the movie. Then we watch the trailer. And then we made a prediction on whether or not we were going to like it as much as we remember liking it, or if we're going to like it at all. And our general consensus, because I was looking at it today, was it looked good. It looked like a B movie, but it looked fun.
Yeah.
So after Anaconda review, we are going to preview our new movie, a movie I know I have seen, but even after getting all the info ready, I don't remember this movie very well. I remember little bits of it, and I think that is why, or at least I went with this one when we were picking movies, 1998's Urban Legend. Do you remember that one a lot? Or
I remember loving that movie. I have seen it entirely too many times, but I have not seen it in probably the last 7 years.
I thought I could see like 7 weeks or something.
No, not that close. Although Urban Legend's Final Cut,
I haven't even seen.
I've only seen. Have I seen all
There's
of this?
3 of them, I think.
I
I'm
have
aware of.
all of the sequel because I think the third
Bloody
one is
Mary.
Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
I saw that and I promptly forgot everything that happened in it. But I watched it. But yeah, no, I love the Urban Legends. Or at least, okay, let me rephrase that. I loved them as I remember them.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not I still love them, whole nother story. If this podcast has taught me anything, it's taught me that apparently my memory is incredibly faulty.
Yeah. So faulty. Well, sometimes.
Sometimes.
Not all the time.
Sometimes. I mean, sometimes.
But sometimes.
Still love the movie,
yeah. Anything new happen this week? See any other movies?
I went to see Barbie.
Ugh, so did I.
No, it was the greatest. It was so good and so smart and so just a great telling of a woman's experience through life. So good.
I have 5 girls.
Yes.
So yeah, I went and saw Barbie.
I need to get t-shirts made. Don't be a Ken, be an Alan.
Actually, I liked the Ryan Gosling, all the Ken scenes. He was friggin' funny.
He was amazing. Like, honestly, the cast was fucking phenomenal. So good.
Did you find the ending kind of like weird, odd, like an odd choice? Like, I'm gonna become like, why wouldn't you go back to Barbie Land and sell more Barbies?
Yeah, she had already woken up from the world.
And what about
from Barbie Land? The sequel is maybe another Barbie comes through, or she has to go back to Barbie Land to save it. There's so many options, but I love it.
And then I got, this weekend, you want to go to the drive-in? I'm like, why? And like, you want to see Meg too? I'm like, yeah, I do want to see. Wait a minute.
It's
Barbie's
playing
the movie playing before
Ah,
Meg 2. Like, you want me to watch it again?
yes. Actually, it was funny because when the lights came up, I looked at my friend and I was like, "I need to watch it like 3 or 4 more times because I feel like I missed a lot." She's like, "Yes!" And I was like, it was so good, so smart, so well acted, so well written. I laughed really hard through most of it.
Did you?
And, yeah,
Oh,
there
there
were
were
a
a lot
few
of
times.
funny parts. The casting was great.
Yeah.
The Will Ferrell parts were funny. The Margaret Robbie as Barbie was
Mm.
perfect. You couldn't
She
get someone like even the voiceover stuff when
Oh,
she was saying
Helen
she feels so ugly in Helen Mirren. It's like they kind of got the wrong actress
Yeah.
to make
You
you
can't
feel
really
for this
say that if
person.
it's
Yeah.
Margot Robbie, like, come on, guys, and I was like, "Yes. Yes." Thank you for acknowledging that.
Yeah, but my
Um,
kids seem to really and let's make it very clear. I am not the demographic that Barbie was shooting for.
yeah,
All of my girls seem to really like it. So that was
there was a lot to unpack.
I wasn't like sitting there like fucking Barbie. I did watch it and I actually laughed at quite a few. That whole dance off war thing was so stupid, but it was funny. Like it
I love
was
that. I was
yeah.
like, "This is fucking phenomenal." There's a lot in it, and as long as, because I was like, "This is the new litmus test." Because if someone comes out complaining about how Ken was treated through this entire movie, and they're like, "It was very anti-man and very," and if someone's walking out saying that, start looking through their podcast, like, playlist and check for red pillars, because 'cause I'm like, yeah, that's not the vibe, my friends." But it was very smart. I really liked it. They did an incredible job. Incredible.
I finally got to watch Halloween Kills.
Did you
And
love it?
I did like it, but I was a little because after no, wait a minute. Halloween Kills. Halloween Kills is the middle one, right? The second one.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Uh,
did love that one. I got to see
yeah.
Halloween Ends,
Ends. Yeah.
which was not disappointing. It was a little because Halloween Kills made him like they were beating the shit out of him and killing him,
Mhm.
and then he was like and then he killed everybody, not
Yeah.
just one or two people. He killed dozens of people. So I thought the third one was going to come back, and he was just going to obliterate the town or something, like come with a
Yeah.
machine gun and he was very frail. This movie, I thought Halloween Ends would have been awesome if it was the fourth one passing a torch off to a new killer or something. It wasn't a horrible movie. I did like the fight with Jamie Lee Curtis and him at the end. It
Yeah.
was yeah, but
No, no,
after
no, I can
Halloween
see it.
Kills, I was kind of let down a little bit.
It
But
feels a little anticlimactic because
yeah,
you expect something bigger than Halloween Kills, but it just
and
really does feel like a continuation of
y-
Halloween Kills.
yeah, without and then yeah, it's like he used all his magic.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a finale.
No, no. So I was a little. It wasn't a horrible movie. It just wasn't that. Yeah,
It's just a
but
little disappointing. That's okay.
did you rent Anaconda? Did you
I
find it?
rented Anaconda because I went searching and I could not find it. Mind
I
you, I
couldn't.
didn't look on YouTube for a free one.
I
Um,
couldn't find it either, and I bought it.
no, that makes sense for you. But I was like, I remember liking it, but not loving it.
Yeah,
So I was like, I'm not gonna buy it. So I rented it. I mean, it was $5. I'm not mad. Well worth the $5.
all right, so we're gonna get into urban legend stuff shortly, but first we're gonna do our review of Anaconda. So, welcome back to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. We are so happy you stuck with us. I have watched Anaconda. Have you, Anna?
Why, yes, I have.
What are your initial thoughts?
Um, I liked it. I did not love it.
Uh,
It had the potential to be beloved, but it did not reach it.
no, okay, so yeah, like I said, I bought this movie. It was
Mhm,
this because it was the same price as the digital version, and
mm,
it was kind of an impulse thing because I didn't buy I actually bought the physical copy. It's upstairs. Um, and it was kind of an impulse thing because I was out and I saw it and I'm like, oh my God, because I couldn't find it. So I knew I was gonna
Yeah.
have to rent it. And I'm like, well, I might as well just buy it because I kind of kicked myself. Oh no, because I streamed Deep Blue Sea. Deep Blue Sea it had some through the years, some shortcomings, but
Mhm.
overall it was a great movie.
Yes.
At that one that I would definitely watch again. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna buy this one. The Blu-ray, the transfer rate sucked.
Mm.
Like it looked meh. Like there were no special features on it. Nothing. It was
That's
just
disappointing.
yeah. So I was kind of like, what the fuck? But yeah, I kind of agree with you. It was a fun midnight B movie
Mhm.
that doesn't reach that certain plateau.
Yeah. Came close.
It
Ish.
had a lot, yeah, had a lot of great moments.
Yes. A lot of great
Um,
moments, but just not enough to keep me fully in it, you know?
Now I have found in my rabbit hole of when I was setting up Anaconda stuff, there are Jon Voight pictures. Like you can get different size canvas art of his Paul Cerrone
For
character,
reals?
and that one where he's kind of like looking at everybody all weird.
Where
And
he's
I'm
giving
like,
stank face?
yeah, you could also get it for like the back of your phone,
Oh my
like
god.
a phone.
A phone cover? Phone
That's it,
case?
case.
Yeah.
But the wall art, I've been looking at it. I've gone back and I'm like, I might buy that just for this, just because I do have that
Yeah.
thing where I put my Jason stuff. Once I get the other room done, I'm going to use it a lot more, and I'm like, that might be a perfect piece to.
See, I'd buy it for a bathroom directly across from the toilet.
Just looking at, and it's
Just
him
staring at you.
and it's like you're looking at it. It's like it looks like he's looking at you too. I'm like, that's awesome
Exactly.
because he made this movie.
The amount of faces he made and
So
just the
over the top.
melodrama and
Oh,
oh god. It was like, what? And I also wanna know how much they paid Eric Stoltz for this movie.
not a lot, I don't think, because he
God,
wasn't
I
in it a
hope
whole
not,
lot.
because he was asleep for 90% of it.
Yeah, like it was a pretty easy role.
Right? He just had to have Jennifer Lopez whisper sweet nothings to him for most of it.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And this was definitely, you could tell this was one of her first. I don't know what order it fell into, but she got better. I'm not saying she's like an amazing actress, but I think she's very competent actress. I do like most of the movies I've seen her in,
Yeah.
most of them. She got better because she
No,
was not great in this movie.
God bless. But you know what? You know who also has gotten better but was actually really good in this movie? Ice
Ice
Cube.
Cube, yeah. Ice
Killed
Cube's
it.
awesome. Yeah, he's awesome.
I've loved him forever. Like
Yeah.
from the very beginning when he was just a very angry rapper.
Oh
And now
yeah.
that he's a very angry actor, I love him too. Like he's just
Oh,
forever and ever.
I lived out in the middle of nowhere, a white kid with no ethnicity around me. It was all white.
Mm.
And yeah, I was into NWA and
Who isn't though?
it was
Who
awesome.
isn't?
And then I loved all his movies, like whether it was Are We There Yet? Or yeah, he's fun. He makes fun movies.
Yeah, and he's awesome in interviews. I love watching him in interviews, especially
Yeah.
now that his son is an actor too.
Yeah. He was in Cocaine Bear. He was awesome in Cocaine Bear. And he was awesome in Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah.
Where he played his dad.
Yeah.
But Ice Cube he's a good interview, but he just doesn't give a fuck what he says.
He really doesn't, and that's
No.
what makes him the greatest of interviews for the viewers. I'm sure producers are sitting there going, "God, please just answer the question." And he's
Yeah.
like, "Fuck that shit." And I'm like, "Thank you, Ice Cube. Thank you."
But I bet you he was one of the ones that was afraid of snakes.
Oh, probably.
Because I was wondering because we did that trivia and it said that it took a lot of time and there were a lot of breaks because the crew and a lot of the cast were deathly afraid of snakes. And I was thinking like, they're animatronic snakes. What the fuck and they're CGI. I kind of forgot how many
Yeah.
snakes were actually in this movie.
They keep fucking showing up, and I was not happy about that.
Yeah, there was a lot of snakes, like
Yeah.
real snakes.
Yeah, just, like, squirming around, and I'm like, no, don't do that."
All right, let's start with let's go through the movie.
Yes.
On the Amazon River, a poacher hides from an unknown creature in his boat. While it breaks through the boat and attempts to catch the poacher, he commits suicide by shooting himself to prevent the snake from killing him. First, before we went and watched this, I was excited Danny Trejo was in this movie.
Mhm.
FYI, listeners, Danny Trejo dies in the first 3 minutes. That is all the Danny Trejo Jimmy got. Not a good start for Jimmy.
I'm sorry, Jimmy.
Oh,
I'm
I was
sorry.
so mad.
It took me a hot second to figure out it was him. I was like, "Oh, you look very different."
Yeah, and it was. I also remarked to no one because no one wanted to watch it with me. Look how young Danny Trejo looks.
So young.
He was 53 when he shot this movie.
Okay, that man made a deal with the devil. I'm 100% certain, because he doesn't age.
No, like
Now you can see he's aged from this movie,
yeah, he's like
but
100.
from when he became, like, really famous to now, he
Yeah,
looks exactly the same.
and I was like, God damn, he was 53 when he shot this. And it's like I don't know how many movies he did before Anaconda, but it's like he was just starting out at 53.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, he had a whole ass life before he started acting. He's like Helen Mirren.
Yeah. But other than it killing the awesome Danny Trejo, it was a good opening scene. The whole snake trying to get up through the floor and the
Yep.
nails just shooting up into the air into to his eye line. And if there was no chick or kid to toss the anaconda, I'd probably have done the same thing and shot myself. That's why you always got to have a kid.
Oh my God.
A kid or a smaller person that you can overpower and throw to the monster.
A smaller person you can overpower.
It's like that saying, I don't have to outrun that monster. I just have to outrun you.
Yeah.
Or push you to the ground and run away.
Or shoot you in the leg and run.
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're in a horror situation, you don't want to look across the room and see me. You're like, that guy right there, fucking watch him.
Yeah, you don't want to see me either because I'm the final girl. So you know if you're
Yeah,
in the
you're
room with me, you're gonna die. It's fine. I'll try and help you though. Not like Jimmy.
Yeah, no.
Jimmy gonna let you die.
No. Jimmy looks out for Jimmy. Meanwhile, a film crew is shooting a documentary about Shirishamas.
Yeah, sure.
I think that's what they.
Shirishama.
I think Jon Voight pronounced their name 7 different times, 7 different ways.
We'll talk about his accent in a hot second.
Oh, he's awesome. A long-lost indigenous Amazon tribe. The crew includes director Terry Flores. That's Jennifer Lopez. They didn't put this in the plot here. That's Jennifer Lopez. Cameraman and childhood friend Danny Rich, Ice Cube. Production manager Denise Kohlberg. Oh, I forgot her name.
Carrie
Moore. Yeah. Denise's boyfriend and sound engineer Gary Dixon. Owen Wilson. Narrator Warren Westridge. Oh crap! Sorry, Warren. He's a great actor.
He's so good.
Jonathan Hyde. Anthropologist Professor Stephen Kale, and that is Eric Stoltz, and boat skipper Mateo. Mateo. And what a great cast. Eric Stoltz, Ice Cube, Carrie Wooher, Jonathan Hyde, Owen Wilson. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, no, it was a small cast, but it was a lovely cast. I'm not mad at the cast.
No, and we get an idea of who everyone is, what their characteristics and personalities are, and it's a quick scene, but it sets everything, the characters up very quickly. Yeah. Like you get an idea of who will probably get eaten first, who might survive just by that scene alone. And we get to see the boat, which is almost a character itself. Like, what a fantastic way to travel. Like I would go on one of those boats. That would be awesome. Not in the Amazon where they were.
Well, fuck
Like,
no.
no.
But a refurbished boat like that?
Oh, yeah.
100 I'd live on that shit.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Not down south, not a bayou, nothing where snaky
No,
or
no. No alligators, no crocodiles, no
fresh water,
piranhas.
nothing with the ability to kill me.
Valid.
Yeah.
Valid.
The group encounters stranded Paraguayan snake hunter Paul Cerrone. So Cerrone,
Sure, we'll say Cerrone.
who convinces them he can help them find the Shimishamas. I don't care what anyone says. Jon Voight is awesome and makes this movie just by the overtopness, the badness. If he wasn't in this movie wouldn't be half as good.
It wouldn't be half as entertaining.
It wouldn't be half as entertaining.
And it wouldn't cause you to be as invested, because I have never rolled my eyes and screamed at the screen so much. You guys are from the hood. You should know better.
Yeah. Yeah. Look at this guy. Like I made a, where's my note? I made a, Jon Voight is the true villain, not the Anaconda. Over the top, overacted, over everything. Yeah, he's everything. Just
also, he couldn't seem to decide on what accent.
Nope.
He wanted.
He had
to
a
have.
few. He had a few of them.
Yeah, I was like, that sounds Brazilian. Then that sounds Hispanic, but I don't know if it's Paraguayan or like South American. And then there were a couple where I was like, is that even like Latin American at all?
No, a couple of them sound European.
Yeah, there were a couple where I was like, sir, what are you doing?
It's like he didn't practice at all and just started that day.
He was like, Paraguay, I can do this. And that's all he did. That was all of his research. Oh, God.
Most of the crew are uncomfortable around Cerrone. No shit. Kale, Eric Stoltz, clashes with him several times about the Shirashama lore. This guy might as well have been wearing a red flag.
He was a walking red flag.
Yeah. And it should have had on the front, I'm going to either kill you on the front of his flag.
Yeah.
And on the back, or I'm going to get you killed, written on the back of that shirt flag. Yeah. The creep factor that oozes from this guy. Like even when he wasn't speaking, just his
so
look.
much wrong with him. So much wrong with him. So what do? They start listening to him about where villages are, about where the hospital is, about which direction they should go. I'm like, why are you listening to the walking red flag?
Yeah.
There is something wrong with him.
If I was in a room alone with him, all you would hear was, I need an adult. I need an adult. I should not be left in a room alone with this man.
Stranger danger.
Yeah. Run and tell. What's that one? Jeepers Creepers. Where'd you get those peepers?
Yeah.
Eventually, Kale is stung by a wasp and an allergic reaction swells up his throat and leaves him unconscious. Okay, so if you haven't seen the movie, the boat is chugging down the river.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, the cinematography is very well done. It's gorgeous.
Beautiful. There are some absolutely gorgeous shots throughout this movie.
Yeah, this total, like we're nerding out here, film nerding out. But yeah, the cinematography is very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Exterior shots of surroundings.
Gorgeous.
But the rope holding the fuel gets caught in the propeller and stalls the boat. So Eric Stoltz's character, Kale, has to dive into the water and untangle it. This is where we get the story of the kangaroo. We covered this in our trivia section, which won't be in the podcast. It'll be on the clips. That is only on our live broadcast every Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern, where we record the podcast live. But the kangaroo, we learn, will swim up your urethra, put its spikes out to lodge itself, and it can't be removed. You have to go in and cut it out. So Kale jumps in, and I will admit those shots of all around him, and he's a little nervous. They were great shots. They were creepy as hell.
They were.
Because it was clear, yet still kind of murky.
It was very murky, yeah.
Yeah.
And
anyways,
foggy.
Yeah. And he starts grabbing his throat and makes it to the surface. Ice Cube and Owen Wilson jump in to get him.
Okay, but can we talk about how long it took everybody to fucking, one, notice he was in trouble.
Yeah.
2, jump into the water. 3, actually do something about him.
Yeah.
Like choking. Like, I was like, No, I want none of you around if it's an emergency. None of you.
No, well, they are a film crew. They're not no first. And you'd think on something like this, you'd bring someone with a little first aid training. You are in the Amazon
Right?
jungle. Like, that's
Like, bring someone who has, like St. John's ambulance first aid training.
yeah.
One person that passed the course.
But lucky for them, Cerrone performs an emergency. What is that called?
Tracheotomy.
Tracheotomy. Seemingly saving Kale's life, but soon after takes over the boat, forcing the crew to help him achieve his true goal, hunting down a giant record-breaking green anaconda he had been tracking, which he believes that he can capture alive. So Cube Jon Voight does the old cut to the throat, pen to help the breathe trick, which I've been told on more than one occasion, repeatedly, no matter how many times I objected with but not to do it to another human being in all my first aid classes. And I have to take them regularly. But what if, no, Jimmy, no, do not try to do a tracheotomy. Fine. Earlier, he tried to get them to take a different route to find this tribe. And Kale, being an anthropologist, said he knows a thing or two about tracking tribes, and they go the original route. So now Cerrone is like, we need to get him to a hospital, and to get him there quicker, we need to go this way, which is the same route he wanted to go. Everyone is a little suspicious. Yeah. And then even Jennifer Lopez character is like, well, we don't have much of a choice.
Yes, you do.
Danny, yeah, you do. You always have a choice.
You have way more choices. You could listen to Mateo, the captain, and say, hey, Mateo, where do you think we should go? Don't look at the crazy man. Where do you think we should go?
Now, Danny and Mateo and Cerrone search the wreckage of the poacher's boat. So now they come across the boat at the beginning of the movie where Danny Trejo was so criminally taken away from us in the opening minutes. And Cerrone sees a picture of him, Mateo, and Trejo news clipping and hides it. And then he finds his snake catching gear. A photo. Oh, sorry. The plot actually did have this. A photograph in an old newspaper reveals that Mateo, Cerrone, and the poacher were working together to hunt animals, including snakes. Leaving the poacher's ship, Mateo falls into the water where the giant male warrior anaconda, measuring 25 feet, that's 7.6 meters, attacks and kills him, while Danny and Cerrone return to the boat unaware of Mateo's fate. This was kind of a bad scene. Like, yes, it shows Cerrone doesn't give a fuck, but Mateo obviously knows a bit about hunting if they've been hunting together.
Yeah.
It would have been better if they saw Mateo get killed or heard it. And when Ice Cube went to go back, Cerrone could have been like, we'll only get ourselves killed.
There's a lot of not talking about how dangerous this is. And I get why, because Cerrone doesn't want to tell anyone, so they'll go along with his cute little plan and just do what he says.
Yeah.
But I'm worried that they weren't more worried about Mateo. It was just, I can't find him. And he comes back with an extra flashlight and they just keep going. And I'm like, I feel like that's a little bit of a plot hole.
Well, no, because Lopez, they stayed the night waiting for Mateo.
They stayed the night waiting, but nobody goes out to look for him.
No, I wouldn't. Like,
well,
fuck you, Mateo. I want to go get my kid. I'm not going to go get
you
Mateo.
Wouldn't. You wouldn't look for anybody. We know this.
Yeah. Jimmy, I think your kid's back there. No, we got to leave them. They're gone. No, I can see them. They're right there. No, it's too dangerous.
It's too much. It's too far. It's just too far gone. We can't go. So we're going to pretend like you're not in this movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And we're going to pretend like I am in this movie. We'd go looking for Mateo, not you, me.
Right.
And my peoples. We wouldn't just be like, we're just going to hang out for the night.
Yeah. See if he shows up. Because even what's his name is like, where do you think he went? The Warren.
Yeah.
He's like, wake up. Where do you think he went for a stroll?
Yeah. He's like, sweetie, this is not. And here's the thing. Okay, so Jennifer Lopez is playing a director.
Yeah.
Which means she would have been in, but then Carrie Werr, Denise, is the production manager.
Who would most likely be the one in charge.
She's the one in charge of schedules, budgets, etc. This is going to affect your schedule and your budget.
Yeah.
If the captain of the boat you're on goes missing,
Yeah.
you find that captain because you're thinking about invoices, you're thinking about deadlines. She should have been the one to be like, no, 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 we need to explore, we need to find him. I can understand why Terry was like, we'll wait the night. It'll be fine because directors always don't care about things like
Yeah.
schedules or except in animation. Then they actually care because the production manager is there daily and the producer telling them to be on time. But anyways, that's a different story. So I had a problem with we're going to stay the night
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
then it didn't actually do anything for the story either.
No.
Like them staying the night was just like Terry gets woken up in the morning. It's like, he's not back. We need to get going.
Yeah. And
Also,
Jon Voight got to just sit around and look all creepy.
yeah. And Eric Stoltz is still unconscious
Yeah,
after
there was
being,
still that thing about getting him to the hospital.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm like, and you apparently, Terry Flores apparently loves him and is like, I missed you. So why are you so slow to do anything?
Yeah.
That I have a logic problem with.
Yeah, this was a huge one of this
Yeah,
movie.
because I was like, nobody's in a rush. Emergency tracheotomy with a dirty pen, a dirty knife, and a bottle of whiskey. But we're not going to rush him to a hospital?
Yeah.
That was a logic problem for me.
Cerrone promises that if the crew helps him find the snake, he will help them get out alive. Everyone was against this idea except for old Warren Westwood, who was like, wake up, bitches, because Jennifer Lopez was like, we're waiting until Mateo gets back. And Cerrone is like, he's dead. And she's like, you said, we'll wait. And Warren's like, fuck Mateo, let's go. That would have been me.
You would have said it before Cerrone. You would have
Yeah.
said it before everyone.
Yeah,
Fuck
before
Mateo, let's go.
I guess Mateo's not coming back. Let's go. That night, Cerrone convinces Gary Owen Wilson to help him film it, make a fortune, and Gary, against his girlfriend's protest, decides to help Cerrone. So that night, the Anaconda attacks the boat crew. Cerrone attempts to capture the snake, but it coils around Gary, crushing him. Terry attempts to shoot the Anaconda to save him, but Cerrone knocks her gun away, and the snake devours Gary, leaving a heartbroken Denise in tears. The crew overpowers Cerrone and ties him up as punishment. I like the Anaconda kill scene, this one.
I do too.
Yeah. Even if a lot of the CGI was pretty bad.
Oh, the CGI was terrible.
Horrible.
But it's also like 1997 CGI, so I'm not even
Yeah.
that mad at it. I was like, this is beautiful. I love it. I love the Anaconda kills after Mateo.
Yes. Yeah. After Mateo. Like
Yeah.
when it came out of the water with Owen Wilson was still
Yes.
alive.
You
and
could hear him
gasping
take
for
a
breath.
gasp.
Yeah.
Oh God, that was so good.
Like, oh, that
Yeah.
would suck. And when the snake is swimming and
Yes.
the belly, the outline of the face, the mouth wide
Yes.
open, like he was there screaming. Yeah, because that's when you first heard the snake scream. And I would have leaned harder into the silliness. I would have had his mouth moving and hands moving when he was in the
Yeah.
belly. Yeah. And Cerrone is now full on nuts, ordering everyone around.
Mm.
Like, it's obvious. If the snake doesn't get these people, he's not letting you out of the jungle. Like,
no.
yeah. So they overpower him. The next day, the boat becomes stuck at a waterfall. Okay. We'll go back a bit. Lopez and Ice Cube get this and hatch a plan. Lopez, no, what happened? This plot missed a bunch here.
So basically,
Tie him up as punishment.
they tie him up, but it's when before that, Lopez tries to.
That's right. They hatch a
Yeah.
okay. So before they tie him up, he's ordering everyone around. They hatch the plan. Lopez gets all dolled up,
By
comes
putting
to
on
Cerrone.
lipstick.
Yeah. Who admits it's been him and Mateo and Danny Trejo for a long time. But as Lopez and Voight are making out, Cerrone sees Danny, Ice Cube, sneaking up on him, knocks Danny down, continues to make out with Lopez some more, and then tosses her to the side. This is a villain, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Like, he is great. But Warren is behind him and knocks him out with the golf club. Warren actually suggests to keep whacking him with the golf club. Ice
Yes.
Cube suggests throwing him into the river.
And
And
everybody should have listened to them.
yeah, and it's Lopez, abroad, I might add. Haven't we had enough violence?
I can tell you with very much sincerity that if I was on that boat, I wouldn't have listened to her, and I would have been like, "Fuck you, we're throwing him off.
I think
We're gonna
most
keep him tied up,
people, male or female, would be like,
attach
you know what?
something heavy to him, and
And
drop him
throw
in
him
the river,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna go on our merry little way."
But yeah, Jennifer Lopez ruined it for everybody.
She really did, but I mean, the movie had to keep going. It was very short at this point. You couldn't stop the movie.
Yes, yeah. And that's where I made the note here. How did she become the de facto leader? She
'Cause
was
she's
a
the director.
director, and she used to be a fly girl on Living Color. That's my note.
Well, she did the Roger Rabbit, and then everybody was like, "Well, of course we have to follow her."
Yeah. So now he's tied up. They go up the river and they see a waterfall.
Mhm.
The next
Beautiful.
day, the boat becomes stuck at the waterfall, requiring Terry, Danny, and Westridge to enter the water to winch it loose. That was a good plan, actually.
Yeah.
Denise confronts Cerrone and attempts to kill him to avenge Gary's death. But this plot, it just says, where is it? To avenge Gary's death, but he strangles her with his legs before dumping her corpse in the river. He leaps while tied to the thing.
Yes.
Leaps up high enough around her neck and breaks her neck.
I was like, "Oh,
Jon
Cerrone
Voight's
knows
man.
jujitsu." This is me. I was like, "Cerrone knows jujitsu." For like
Yeah.
a hot second, I thought capoeira, but then I was like, "No. This is Brazilian jiu-jitsu." He still looks kind of, but I was like, he literally leaps off the ground by like 6 feet, wraps his legs around her neck, and I was like, impressive.
Very impressive.
But and immediately her
Cat-like.
first thing is, "I'm gonna drop the knife." I'm
Yeah.
like, "No, girl, that's when you grip harder and you start stabbing his leg."
Yeah.
But I mean, whatever, it's fine. She was probably very surprised by the whole, leaping into the air and
I would be.
but yeah, it was very, I was like, "What?" And then he kills
I'd
her,
be like,
and I was
no,
like,
Paul
"Oh, girl."
Cerrone's penis. Get it away from me.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no. Ew.
That would be. Yeah.
Sorry, I literally just had a thought about that, and I was like, "Oh
Oh,
god."
I didn't want you to go deeper into that thought.
My first thought was, how long since it's been washed? Like, that was because these people are nasty on this boat, and I don't
Oh,
see
yeah.
a shower.
Paul's been out there for a long time. I'm pretty sure
Uh-huh.
showering's not on his to-do list.
Yeah, nope. He's got a nice, like, layer of grime on him, and I'm like, which adds to his creepiness, which is nice, but also ew. I was sad that Denise died that way. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I feel like she deserved a better death.
Yeah. Like, other than Cerrone leaping up and wrapping his legs around her neck.
No, it was a good kill.
Yeah,
It was
but
a
it
sad
was.
death.
Yeah.
I feel like she deserved a better death. She needed to fight a little more. She needed to get something. It was just kinda like her half, threatening him.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't even a full threat. Like, she didn't even, like, cut him at all or anything. It was
No.
just,
Didn't even get to do anything.
yeah, it was kinda sad. I was like, "Oh, girl."
The Anaconda returns and Westridge distracts it long enough for Terry and Danny to return to the boat while Westridge ascends the waterfall. Cerrone breaking free during the attack and attacks Danny. The Anaconda climbs a tree and attacks Westridge, but the tree snaps. The crew winds up in the water. Cale wakes up in the process, and Westridge is killed in the fall from the waterfall. Not exactly how that happened. Okay, Westridge
No.
hides behind the waterfall.
Yes.
But the Anaconda is like, I see you. And
Yes,
comes
like,
into the water.
he jumps out
Yes.
of the waterfall, and the Anaconda catches him midair,
And
which I thought was cool.
if you don't have a kid or someone smaller than you that you can overpower, that's all you really can do. It's just jump.
Please stop offering up the little people for your safety.
Yeah, why does Dad make us walk in front of him when we go on these adventures? So I jump. What else are you gonna do?
Yeah.
And this was the first CGI coiling up that didn't look that bad.
True, but I think
Did
it's
it look
because
perfect?
it was far away, like, we weren't
Ye
super close to the coiling,
Yes.
so I appreciated that. It didn't look as I don't wanna say junky. Clunky, that's the word.
Clunky. Yeah,
Yeah,
and this was in, the midair, and it was cool looking, and
yeah.
we have it in our '90s intro or outro. I'm not 100% which one, but yeah, we use that, snake grabbing Westridge there. The snake attacks Danny, but Terry shoots it in the head. Cerrone, still believing he can capture the snake alive, attacks her. Kale stabs him with the tranquilizer dart before losing consciousness again himself, and Danny knocks Cerrone into the river. And then the dart is floating around, and they're like, oh no, it's not enough winning. He's still out there.
Yeah.
Cerrone eventually catches up to the group and captures Terry and Danny. Okay, it kind of misses a bit here again. They go down the river. Now it's just Danny, Terry, and Cal, who is unconscious again. They come
Yes.
across like an old factory or plantation of some sort.
Yeah.
Decide to go in to see if they can find some fuel. They notice something bad had happened there with broken guns and the buildings busted to shit.
Mhm.
Um, they missed all the Anaconda statues around the
Yes.
entire place. And then Cerrone appears and knocks them out.
Mhm.
Cerrone eventually catches up to the group and captures Terry and Danny, dumping a bucket of animal blood, monkey blood. Doesn't like monkeys.
Oh, but he announced, not just blood, monkey blood.
Monkey, yeah, yeah, in one of his many accents. And he's using them as bait for a second, much larger female queen
Mm.
anaconda measuring 40 feet, 12 meters.
Mhm.
I don't know why that's in the plot, but yeah, it was a much bigger snake.
It was.
Yeah, I had a note. This guy loves killing monkeys. The snake attacks the pair, slowly suffocating them. Cerrone attempts to catch the anaconda in a net, but it breaks free and attacks him, eventually swallowing him whole, while Terry and Danny watch as they escape their bonds.
Can I point out the interior snake,
The
effect?
POV from
Oh
inside the
my god,
snake,
was
that was
so
cool.
cool.
That was
I was
cool.
like, "Oh god, that looks good." Like, it looks really, really good.
Yeah, and Cerrone tried to fight back. It wasn't as good as remember Mr. Warwick from Graveyard Shift when he
Mm,
fought the big giant bat rat? But you could tell Cerrone was trying to break free.
yeah. It's kinda funny.
Now Cerrone didn't really go out like swinging, and but he was a more like he was trying to get away. He tried to get up the ladder. He didn't
Yeah,
try. Yeah, but yeah, it was a great death scene. Best
it
of the
was so
movie.
good.
You could hear the bones crackling, and you could
Yeah,
see his cheek, just kind of jaw, kind of. It was good, and
it
the
was good.
inside of the snake was pretty good
Yeah,
too. And then seeing when they show them looking over and they see his feet kind of
yeah.
kicking as it's swallowing him. Yeah, that was a great scene. I think I like talking about it better than I like watching it.
Probably, yeah. Yeah.
The anaconda gives chase to Terry, who retreats into the building and finds a nest full of newborn anacondas. They blew up a bridge earlier. For those listening, tons of snakes all over the boat. Then Terry, Jennifer Lopez, finds this nest, a ton more of snakes, and ugh. The snake regurgitates the still alive but partially digested Cerrone and chases her up a smokestack. I guess he was weighing the snake down.
Yes, but can we point out that he winks when he
Oh,
gets regurgitated?
so awesome.
I was like, "Oh god."
I made a note. The fact that when he's regurgitated and he saw Terry and winks at her
I
was
was like,
just awesome.
I was like, that makes me I was like, "Oh shit, is he gonna keep going after her? Is he gonna keep, like, being a problem? What is happening?"
That would have been horrible. That would
Yes.
yeah, I don't think I would have liked that. Yeah, that would have sucked. This was kind of like a wink, like I told you they were dangerous.
I
Like,
feel like the director at every take was like, "Don't wink."
yeah,
And Jon Voight was like, "No,
no, my
Cerrone would
character,
wink."
he'd wink.
So he just kept winking, and so they had to use a
Yeah,
winking shot.
and I'm glad they did. Um, da, 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 da. Okay, I'm looking ahead here, just glancing at it. It is missing some stuff. Danny pins its tail to the ground with a pickaxe and ignites a
Mhm.
fire below the smoke shack, setting the snake on fire. Okay, so Terry climbs that silo
Yep.
and gets out the top after wrestling with the lock and then closes it. The snake gets free of the pickaxe and bursts through the top of the silo.
Yes.
And then Ice Cube's like, jump. And she's like, I can't jump. And he's like, jump, bitch. The snake's going to get you. And she finally does. I would have, you wouldn't even have to say it. As soon as that snake came out,
I
I'd
don't
be
yeah, but I don't know
gone.
if she jumped or she got thrown because it was after the explosion.
Oh, she might have gotten thrown.
Like, she was still holding on, and then it exploded,
Yeah, you're
and
right.
then
She
she was
might have
like,
gotten thrown.
"Ah!"
And then you see the snake on fire going
Yeah.
down. The resulting explosion sends the burning anaconda flying out of the building and into the water. As Terry and Danny recuperate on a nearby dock, the anaconda resurfaces, but Danny kills it with an axe to the head. Yeah, it comes right up through the dock,
Yeah.
screaming. And if
I'd
you're
like to point
listening to
out,
this, yeah,
Danny is the only one who seems to want to leave.
yeah,
Terry just keeps sitting down and, like, holding on, and she's in no rush, and it really irks me.
yeah. Like, have you not been following the movie, Lopez? Like, snake's not going to stop.
Yeah, I'm like, "You need to have a little bit of urgency, my friends. Giant killer snakes.
Yeah,
Maybe jog?
yeah.
Jog away from the danger."
Giant screaming snakes. 'Cause this thing screamed.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, listeners, not Lopez and Ice Cube. They're not screaming. The snake
No.
is screaming. Um, yes. When you think, and it was because of that trivia, and it got in my head. And every time I heard the snake, because I saw the movie many times, and
Mm.
the screaming didn't bother me. But after the trivia part, I'm like, oh yeah, snakes don't scream. And every time they're screaming, like, so silly. But it fit the movie for its cheesiness.
Well, yeah.
Afterwards, the pair reunite with Kale, who begins recuperating on the boat. While floating downriver, the trio suddenly locate the Shama tribe they were originally seeking, and realizing Cerrone was right, they begin filming their documentary as the movie ends. I would have been like, where the fuck were you guys? Did you not hear that fucking snake screaming? Did you not think something might be up?
No, because the reason why that tribe has survived for so long is because they don't fuck with the snakes.
Yeah. Yeah, they go away from the screaming.
They built a fucking dam to keep the snakes in. They're
Yeah.
like, "No, you guys stay over there." And
Yeah.
then it was, "See, look, see what happens when colonizers show up? Fucking blowing up all the safety. That's what happens. That's what happens.
God, what's this dam doing here? Well, it might be there for a reason.
Blow it up."
Yeah, they probably were like, we put these giant statues of anacondas everywhere. We thought it would
We thought it was a
self-explanatory.
warning. We thought people would read the warning, but no, they just blew up the dam that was keeping everybody safe. It's fine.
All right. Well, that is the movie. Anna score.
6.7.
Wow.
Here's the thing. I'd like to point this out. It was better than okay. I don't think it was very really good, but I think it was pretty kind of good. But it was close to very really good, and it could have been one of those movies that I put into my regular rotation where I'm like, "God, why haven't I been watching you?" I know why I haven't been watching it.
Yeah.
And there are certain things that drive me absolutely nuts about this movie. A couple little logic problems where I'm like, you know what, a few different direction notes on performance, or maybe a few different like setups. It would have been pretty close to amazing. Um, Also, not the greatest. It I don't know how to put this. A lot of the performances didn't give me what I needed. There was almost no real sense of urgency, even in like, I didn't get worked up when there was danger from the snakes
Right.
because nobody else was worked up. And it kind of fell short. But for the most part, very entertaining movie. It was a lot of good fun. The snake kills, for the most part, were awesome. And Jennifer Lopez wasn't that offensive. But oh my God, was Jon Voight
Oh.
so offensive.
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
Yeah. In all the right ways. So
Yes.
bad. So bad.
So bad. So bad.
Okay, my score. I pretty much got and agreed with all the reviews, good and bad. This is not a good movie. This is not
Mm.
a horrible movie. This is a bad movie, but it was a midnight B movie that was it was fun to watch. Am I glad I bought it for $15? No, not at all. Especially with nothing on it. Like it would have been easier to swallow. Get it? Had it had special features and a transfer that didn't suck. The best way I can describe this movie is Anaconda is a movie you come across TV late at night after flipping through all your channels for the third time and say, fuck it, I'm going to watch Anaconda. Or you're 30 minutes into searching Netflix and decide, I'm either going to watch Anaconda or I'm going to spend the next 30 minutes searching and just go to bed. This is not a planned movie. Like this weekend, I'm setting time aside and getting some snacks and watching Anaconda. It's not that type of movie. The acting is great for what you're watching as far as B movie monsters movies go. The CGI can be very dated at times, like very dated. But I had fun. I had fun when it was good effects. I had fun when it was bad effects. And I always had fun when Jon Voight was in full loony. So I give it a 6.
Nice.
Now, saying that, I am now interested in the sequels.
I'm so curious.
The next movie, Anaconda's The Hunt for the Blood Orchid, is the second of the 4 Anaconda movies, and it's ranked higher in almost every rankings I saw than this movie.
Really?
Yeah. And the other Anaconda movies might fall into that Tremors sequel territory. But they all intertwine and climax with the Lake Placid movies that also have 4 movies.
They have 4 Lake Placids?
Well, they have 5. There's one that came out in 2018 called Legacy, has nothing to do with the other ones. The other 3 Lake Placid movies are all related to the Betty White character. And
no idea.
And Robert Englund's in them, and a couple other people are in them, and they all climax with Lake Placid versus Anaconda, with actors from both series in them.
I think I've seen
not this
Lake
movie.
Placid.
None of these actors are in it.
I think I've seen Lake Placid versus Anaconda.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the like finale of both series.
Interesting.
So I'm really curious. I might have to watch those.
I'm very curious to see what all of the sequels for Anaconda and Lake Placid are like. Like I know I'm pretty sure I watched Lake Placid versus Anaconda.
See, I don't think I have.
I feel like I did.
I was a snob for direct-to-video movies for a long. That's why I never watched any of the Tremors until just a few years ago, and they're great. I love them.
They're so wonderful. They're
they're
so
bad,
terrible.
yeah.
So terrible,
They're
but so good.
Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah. So, if Blood Orchid is ranked to the audience, these are all audience rankings and websites, but yeah, it's ranked higher than this Anaconda.
Interesting. Now I know what I'm watching tomorrow.
Now, why I liked it initially, this movie was about a anaconda eating people. I was a kid, of course. I liked this movie. Plus, I had Ice Cube. That's exactly why I liked it. How about you?
Anaconda eating people.
Yeah.
Also, it was on the Amazon. I love movies and books where the group of people are isolated, so they can't go for help.
Yeah.
So that was why I loved it initially.
Now we hit buy it, rent it, stream it, or skip it. If you liked it then.
If you liked it then, valid to rent, but do not buy.
I can attest to that. After paying $15 plus tax, do not buy this movie. Yeah, especially if there's a couple of yous or like your partner like remembers liking it too. Yeah, it's worth a rental. It's worth
yeah. Like I feel very comfortable having paid $5 for the rental because I also know it's not something because if you said you bought it for $15, I am not going to watch this another 3 times in the next like year to justify the price of purchasing it.
I'm not even gonna do that. I'm just gonna continue complaining about the fact that I paid $15 for it.
But I'm not mad that I paid $5 to rent it.
No, and if you can find it streaming, definitely stream it.
Oh, but 100%.
If you remember liking it, you can't find it. It's definitely like this was not Deep Blue Sea, which really holds up very well. But this is a fun B movie.
It's fun. Jon Voight is great to laugh at.
Yes.
The performances were good. You spend half the movie going, "Oh my god, why are you listening to the crazy man?" It's perfect.
Yeah. Now, if you've never seen it,
Um, I think if you've never seen it, a rental is fine.
yep.
Yeah, I think it's worth a rental. Um, but I mean,
Especially if you're
obviously,
into B movies.
if you're into B movies, if you're into like the
This is a
monster
very
movies,
good B movie, mind you. Like,
yes.
this is not a cheap B movie. It's
No, they put
a
money into
$45
this.
million movie.
Yeah, they put a lot of money into this, and for 1997,
Yeah.
it's top notch. Um, however, it falls a little short story-wise,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah. Not
mean,
much of a story going on, but
God bless. Um, but I mean, it's totally like if you've never seen it, I could see renting it and not being mad about that. As
yeah.
long as you like kind of monster movie, B movies, you're good to go. If this is
Could,
not your genre, don't do it.
no. Could it be rebooted or reimagined today?
Oh my god, yes, so much.
Yeah, that would be cool. I'd
It would
love to
be
see a more
such a great
realistic,
reboot.
better CGI,
Yeah.
non-screaming Snake. And
I mean,
the only person that can play Jon Voight's character, you'd have to get like Nicolas Cage or someone that would 100% commit
oh, that
to
would
the
be
over the
amazing.
top lunacy. Nicolas Cage could do it
Oh
and
god,
be
what's his name?
awesome.
James Franco, even though we don't appreciate him as a person.
Yeah, he's not a great person,
Not a
but
great person, but he
he
would be
could,
awesome.
yeah,
He
he
could
would be
totally do this
awesome.
character.
Yeah,
We won't give
someone
him the
like that.
job, but
Yeah,
an actor like that where you're like, you have so much creep in you
yeah,
that it just feels right.
yeah. All right. So for the podcast, we hope you enjoyed our review of Anaconda. Please check us out on Facebook, Twitter, or TikTok, or Instagram. Or if you'd like, watch us every Wednesday, 9 p.m. live on YouTube and Facebook. Or you can watch the podcast on YouTube. It's released every Sunday. And if you're listening to this, you can listen to us every Sunday, wherever you got this podcast. So thank you for listening to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. Until the next movie we remember liking. And for those who watch this live or later live, yeah, we got a lot more view, not a ton of views, mind you, but more later. We get a lot more. We are going to intermission and we come back. Urban Legend. I've seen it, but it's been a while and I don't remember a lot.
I'm so excited. I hope it doesn't suck.
Yeah. Maybe it's good that I don't remember.
I think so.
Yeah. So I've got that going for me.
Every time you're excited for a movie, it ends up disappointing you.
Okay, so we are going to intermission, and then we will preview Jared Leto, Alicia Witt, Rebecca Gayheart, Michael Rosenbaum, Tara. You thought Jennifer Lopez couldn't act? Read. Joshua Jackson and Robert England in Urban Legend. Oh, okay. Well, let's talk amongst ourselves for a second.
Okay.
While I. There we go.
It's intermission time, folks. So hurry, hurry, hurry. Step right over to our refreshment center for the most extravagant array of refreshment goodies ever assembled under one roof. Enjoy breathtaking, mouth-watering goodies. Everything from a snack to a delicious full meal. At our refreshment center, you'll find a large variety of goodies to satisfy your hunger, your thirst, or your sweet tooth. So hurry, hurry, hurry. Visit our refreshment center now. The show starts in 3 minutes. The show starts in 2 minutes. The show starts in 1 minute. And now, on with the show.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, 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 dun.
When I watched Barbie this past weekend, I went to the drive-in with the kids.
Yeah.
And that show starts in that we use is they used it at the drive-in. It's actually a 10-minute, but it was the exact same because they use all the old drive-in stuff.
Yeah.
But it was the exact same one. I was pointing it out then, but no one cared. They even show like an old Bugs Bunny cartoon in between.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's really
that's
cool.
fun.
All right, so okay. All right, welcome back to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. I am looking forward to this movie only because I really don't remember it. I've seen it, but I might not have seen it since 1998, and I might have only seen it that one time. But I remember thinking the killings were cool. What do you remember?
I remember the cast because it was all of the hot young Hollywood peoples from 1998. Like they were all the most popular ones. Two, I remember all of the kills because they literally took every urban legend
Yeah,
that was super familiar to everybody and everybody had heard, and they styled those kills so well in this movie. And there was gore, but it wasn't too much and it wasn't too little.
right.
Like you saw those kills. So I mean, I remember loving this movie.
Okay, so for those listening, how we pick a movie is we get a list of movies, different categories, horror, action, comedy. So for each genre, we get 3 movies. I pick one, Anna picks one. If we pick the same movie, we watch it. If we pick different movies, the third movie that isn't picked is the one we will watch. In this case, it was Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer, and Urban Legend. Scream I've seen a lot. Like I
Me
owned
too.
the DVD back in the day. I'd bet money that I haven't seen it in a few years, but I know it's still a good movie. I have not seen I Know What You Did Last Summer a lot, but I do remember the movie fairly well. And this one I did not, so I that's why I picked it.
I just remember loving Urban Legend. Like I
Yeah.
used to watch it a lot. Because it was one of the movies that was available on the server when I worked at in on-air promotions. So we had access to the server. So I would just watch random movies that I had already seen while I was working. So I'd have a little like screen going in the corner of my, and half the time I wasn't even watching. So I would just listen. And Urban Legend was one of the movies that they had that I liked. So I ended up watching it a lot of times. And I have it on DVD. Same thing
Oh,
with
do you?
Yeah.
Oh, so you
Urban
don't even
Legend
have to
Final
rent
Cut.
it or
And then, well, I technically don't have to rent it. I just have to find the DVD. That's the but I own it. I know I do.
all right. So let's first go to the box office. Came out September 25th, 1998. It came out in third place behind Rush Hour and Ronin. It had a budget of 14 million. It opened just over 10.5 million. Domestic over 38 million. International just over 34. So $72.5 million. So it made money, and
Mhm.
then it would have made a lot more in DVD rentals. Horror movies are usually pretty safe, I think, for studios, as long as you don't have ridiculous budgets on them,
Oh, yeah.
because people do like horror movies. They have a pretty devoted fan base that will go and watch pretty much
They
anything.
do.
Yeah, including us.
That's very true.
All right, so let's do some trivia. I'll start this time. I made it bigger.
I appreciate you, but I also figured out how to make this full screen.
Oh, did you? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But I appreciate you. Thank you.
Okay, the killer's outfit is based on the fact that the film was originally planned to be set in the middle of winter. When the weather was too warm, it was decided to drop the winter aspect of the storyline rather than fake snow in all the outdoor scenes and dress all the extras in winter outfits. But they kept the killer's costume.
Smart move. Sarah Michelle Gellar accepted the role of Sasha, but had to back out due to schedule conflicts with Buffy the Vampire Slayer, 1997.
Daniel Harris, plays Tosh, was a smoker at the time and thrilled to be allowed to smoke while working. She quickly realized that shooting scenes while smoking meant that she was going to have to smoke cigarettes for hours all day while they shot. She eventually got sick of it and quit. It's one way to quit.
I have a really weird story about that. It has nothing to do with it. But anyways, when we were working on our independent projects at school, we had to do I was working on, is it Scott Ainsworth? I think that was, I keep confusing with a Scott that I work with now. Scott Ainsworth did his short, and I was the
It
producer
is
on that.
Ainsworth, yeah.
Yeah. And we had to create a smoking room because his thing takes place at like a wake. So we had to create the smoking room, but we, for some reason, forgot to rent a smoke machine. So me, Morrow, Mary Chisholm, I
Oh,
think
just
Morrow
sat in
was
there,
on that crew.
smoked.
We sat in there and we were smoking literally like 4 or 5 cigarettes at a time.
Should have
And
called me. I would have came.
anytime anybody opened the door and let some smoke out, we all lost our shit. Yeah, Morrow was there. So we were just literally, and by after that, we closed the door and we were like, "Get your fucking shot." And I just laid in the backyard, like trying to breathe air. And I was like, that was terrible. And then 20 minutes later, I lit up a cigarette. Just thought I'd
Yeah. Yeah.
The SUV driven in the beginning was originally supposed to be a Land Rover. It was changed to the Ford Expedition, the largest 4x4 available at the time, because the filmmakers discovered they couldn't swing an axe inside a Land Rover. They
Now
did
you
their
know.
research. Nice.
Or they bought one and then tried to do it, and they were like,
Mm.
"Oh." Rebecca Gayheart got sick after eating Pop Rocks all day for the classroom scene.
The film co-stars 2 of Hollywood's most iconic horror movie slashers, Brad Dourif, who portrays Chucky in the Child's Play films, and Robert Englund, who played Freddy Krueger in the Nightmare on Elm Street films.
That's kind
I
of cool.
don't know why all of a sudden I can't read, but
Are you full screen?
I am full screen.
Jodie Lynn O'Keefe was originally offered the role of Sasha, but turned it down to take part in Halloween H2O 20 years later in 1998.
I don't know if that was the better choice, but it was definitely a choice.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't like that movie very much.
Joshua Jackson and Tara Reid both shot scenes in Cruel Intentions in 1999, shortly before production started on Urban Legend. Jackson kept his hair blonde for the Urban Legend shoot, just in case he was needed to return to film any additional footage for Cruel Intentions. That explains why he was blonde.
Yep. The film was inspired by the huge success of Scream 1996. While that film was a self-aware satire of horror film tropes, this one is a self-aware satire of urban legends. The film's negative reception was a result of many critics finding the film to have been an imitation of Scream.
Well, yeah.
A lot of movies got compared to Scream around this time, the whole late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah. Not wanting to be typecast as a scream queen, Jennifer Love Hewitt turned down the role of Natalie Simon. She was offered the role because of her work in I Know What You Did Last Summer, 1997.
A lot of people turned down a role in this movie.
They really did.
Tara Reid performed her own stunts during her character's chase sequence, including the fall over the staircase landing, during which she was secured by a harness. According to Reid, the stuntmen who performed the scene used a real axe throughout the filming of it.
Well, that's terrifying. Jared Leto has disowned the film and hates it, refusing to talk about it in interviews. Jared Leto is also a douchebag, so fuck him.
But he'll sit and talk and tour about Morbius, the vampire movie.
Yeah.
That movie he should have disowned. The film has been credited by both cinema and folklore scholars as being one of the first major films to redistribute the urban legends and folklore depicted within it to the public.
Nice.
And that's it.
Look at that. Scholars talking about this film.
I didn't say it was good, a movie, but they did credit it for...
No. They're like, look at what they did.
All right, so... Where'd it go? There we are.
I don't know.
Yay!
Woo woo.
Tale of the Tape. Urban Legend is a 1998 horror, rated R, comes in at an hour and 35 minutes. Taglines, buckle up, because there's a few. Get ready to face your worst fears.
Okay.
It happened to someone who knows someone you know. You're next.
That's a lot of words.
Yeah, that's actually on the DVD. Up top there. What you don't believe can kill you.
I like that.
Just because it didn't happen doesn't mean it can't.
I don't like that one.
Urban legends can kill. I was just getting lazy. Just throwing anything out. At Pendleton University, urban legends are coming true.
That's shitty.
Yeah, see, they're just... Never talk to strangers, never answer the phone, never flash your lights, never leave the car, and always believe what you're told.
That is not a tagline. That's just life lessons.
Synopsis. A university is beset by a rash of gruesome murders that resemble old urban legends. When her friend Michelle, Natasha Gregson Wagner, is killed by someone hiding in her car, Natalie, Alicia Witt, begins to notice the pattern. Her suspicions grow stronger when her own roommate is strangled to death. Soon, the quiet college campus is transformed into the hunting ground for a maniac, and Natalie struggles to find the killer and stop the bloodshed before she becomes the next victim.
Nice.
And here is the poster, movie poster, pretty much the DVD.
Mm-hmm.
What you don't believe can kill you is at the bottom. It happened to someone who knows someone you know. You're next is on the top. And for those listening, there's an eye in the middle, kind of looking through. Would that be glass or paper? Glass?
Maybe glass.
Paper. Yeah.
But it looks like newspaper clippings too.
Yeah. And it's just the cast. It's Jared Leto, Gayhart, Jackson, Joshua Jackson, Tara Reid, Alicia Witt, and Rosenbaum. All right. Which brings me to my favorite. The reviews.
Oh, the reviews.
So on Rotten Tomatoes, we have 63 critic reviews and it has 25%. 100,000 audience giving it 37%. And the critic consensus is elements of Scream reappear in a vastly inferior vehicle.
Well, that's nice.
So I can't remember, but you may start with the
Thank you.
fresh.
While it does not boast itself as the best, the legends it holds, the horror it honors, the red herrings it constantly crafts, and the twist ending make it at least an entertaining viewing experience. Stephanie Archer, Film Inquiry.
Not every film is going to be a masterpiece. Some entertainment works with its audience simply because it is disposable. Grant Watson, Fiction Machine, original score 6 out of 10.
A proud product of the Scream cookie cutter, Betsy Sherman, The Boston Globe.
There were so many
I
Scream
believe it.
references. Not every film is going.
No, this is a new one.
Oh, that was sorry. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
this entertainment because the audience simply because it's still Grant.
Oh. Oh, Grant, yes.
Sorry, I will go with
It's okay.
Rotten. I'll start with Rotten. There's a lot more of these. It was just stupid. The acting, the story, nor the characters made any sense. Justin Brown, medium popcorn, 1 out of 5.
This was a dumb movie with a terrible killer reveal that is just completely illogical. Also, the outfits of the characters were insane. Brandon Collins, medium popcorn, original score, 1 out of 5.
Same company, same two different people. Both hated it. Urban Legend starts off very clever, then gets a little less clever the longer it goes on. Mike McGranagan, aisle seat, original score 2.5 out of 4.
It's surely not the worst slasher film ever made, but it wastes the hint of a creativity it promises from the outset. Felix Vasquez Jr., cinema crazed.
A deeply stupid movie. True How, Film Written Magazine, original score 1.5 out of 4.
Tell us how you really feel. Can we please declare a moratorium on Scream ripoffs? Kevin Maynard, Mr. Showbiz, original score 2 out of 4.
A routine slasher and not a particularly scary one. Mick LaSalle, San Francisco Chronicle, 2 out of 4. You can take the next one.
A low voltage drive-in movie made strictly by the book. Bob Heisler, Los Angeles Times, 1 out of 5.
Competently made. Roger Ebert, Chicago Sun-Times, 2 out of 4. It wasn't a good movie, but it was competently made. All right, IMDb. IMDb has 69,000 user ratings, giving it 5.6 out of 10. So we'll start with positive. 10 through 6 is positive. 5 through 1 is negative. So you may start.
I'm ready. The best of the Scream knockoffs, 10 out of 10. Jimmy PLM.
A fun, inventive slash fest, 9 out of 10. Clone.
My number 134 movie, 8 out of 10. Renew, 18.
As soon as I saw this, I won't lie. I'm curious. What are the other 133 movies?
Yes.
Better than I Know What You Did Last Summer. 7 out of 10. John Clem.
A predictable, though moderately enjoyable ripoff of Scream, except not as good. 6 out of 10. Nema 2.
All right. Now we are going. We are going to go to the not so good. Great idea, but pretty crappy execution. 5 out of 10. Sir Amir Sarif.
Mm-hmm. Textbook example of a decent idea gone bad. 4 out of 10. Cap Kronos.
Heard the one about the boring, cheesy Scream knockoff? 3 out of 10. Joan Ill 4.
Fantastic. I wish this movie was an urban legend. 2 out of 10. Son of Mansfield.
Heard the urban legend about the terrible film? 1 out of 10. Risemons. Yeah, there were a lot of Rismans. There were a lot of urban legend.
Yeah. Play on words.
All
The
right.
little urban legend puns.
Well, that is. Get off, man. There we go. All right. The only thing left to do now is to watch the trailer. I have not seen this trailer.
I haven't seen this trailer in, I don't know, 20 years.
Yeah. No, like even when I was getting it, I was able to not look at any of it. So I'm just excited.
Folklore. Today we get more specific. This is what we call an urban legend. Contemporary folklore passed on as a true story. Something you might have heard about seeing pop rocks and soda.
Supposedly, your stomach and your intestines burst.
Voila, still alive. Mr. Brooks, please.
It's gonna explode! Somebody call 911!
They are the legends we've all heard.
Gang members drive around at night with their headlights off, and when someone goes to flash from their high beams to warn them, they kill them.
The stories we've all told.
A guy and a girl, and they're parked out in the woods. The guy steps out, and the girl starts to hear these scratching noises. It's her dead boyfriend hung from a tree.
The tales we've all listened to.
Isn't there another story about a guy with an axe hiding in a woman's back seat?
My mom still checks the back seat before getting into a car.
But just because it never happened doesn't mean it never will.
The decapitated body was found in her car.
I knew I should have gone to NYU.
This girl, she could have been any one of us.
What if there is a lunatic on campus?
What is he gonna do next, huh? Maybe put spider eggs in bubblicious? The idea of an urban legend serial killer. It's a stretch.
The call's coming from inside the house.
Could it be an urban legend? Something I can help you with.
Someone out there is taking all these urban legends and making them reality.
Urban legend.
Have you heard the one about the microwave?
What's in the microwave?
Oh, you'll find out. I'd almost forgotten about that.
I have.
As soon as I saw him in the kitchen, I was like, oh shit, right, the microwave.
So it's the producers of I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Which makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. So what's your prediction?
I think I'm going to love it. I think I'm really, really going to love it. You?
Yeah, it looks, I don't think it's going to be up there with Scream,
no.
obviously, but it doesn't have to be either. So yeah, it looks fine. It looks like a 90s, late 90s Scream knockoff, which I remember liking.
Yeah, honestly, Scream, I think brought horror and slasher movies back to the forefront
Yeah.
for filmmaking, and I think a lot of studios kind of hopped on that bandwagon, and some of them were great, some of them were not.
Yeah.
But some of them were just like, we're going to make a slasher movie with a twist, and everybody just assumed, oh, look, it's a bunch of teens in a slasher movie. It's a Scream knockoff.
Yeah, which is kind of unfair.
It's a little unfair, but
Yeah.
also wanted to share that the actor who plays the creepy janitor in this movie
Supernatural.
is from Supernatural, but he also lives about 2 blocks away from me.
We should go say hi.
I see him in the neighborhood all the time, and I kept forgetting his name, and I was like, I can't just scream out death.
No.
That's rude. So
Yeah.
I
Plus,
just
he's probably a lot older now. So
smile and nod. He's still, it's so funny because there's a grocery store right across the street from me, and I'll see him walking with like his little bag from Freshco, and I'm like, hi.
yeah, he's been in quite a few things.
He's been in so much.
Yeah. No, the movie looks fine. It has a good cast. I mean the killer outfit, that's a little but as long as the kills are fine.
Yeah. I'm not looking for genius here.
No,
It's
no,
it's a
it's a slasher movie. Yeah,
it's a slasher movie. Give me a good slasher, and I'm happy.
yeah. Give me a decent slasher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't need it to be rewriting film theory. Like, we're good.
Okay, well, we are going to go watch Urban Legend. I don't even know if it's on any streamer or anything yet. I haven't checked it. I'm not buying it. I'm telling you that.
Oh,
Fool me once, Jon Voight.
you may have to buy or rent it at least.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's probably gonna have to be a rental because I don't think it's on anything. But yeah, we are going to go watch it, and when we come back, we will review it. And for those listening or watching live, please watch Urban Legends sometime this week and come back and see if you agree with us. For the podcast, I already said that part. We're gonna go watch it, and then next week we are going to review Urban Legend. And what are we watching next week? I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's either Principal or it's our next drive-in.
I think it's Principal.
It's maybe Principal. If it's our next drive-in, that means it's Sleepaway Camp 2 and Halloween Resurrection, which might be the best driving of our drive-in summer. Because the last two drive-ins were not good.
No,
not
let's
at all.
hope this one's better.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, let's go watch Urban Legend. Legends is a sequel.
Yeah.
Yes.